On the Border is the third studio album by American rock group The Eagles, released in 1974. During the making of the album, the band experienced significant changes. As the band tried to lean towards a more hard rock sound, they felt that their producer Glyn Johns overemphasized their country-influenced rock sound. After recording only 2 songs, Best of My Love, and You Never Cry Like a Lover, the band dismissed Johns, relocated back to California, and hired Bill Szymczyk. Szymczyk suggested they bring in a harder-edged guitarist to add slide guitar to the song Good Day in Hell. Bernie Leadon suggested his old friend Don Felder, whom they had met and jammed with on a few occasions. The band was so impressed that they invited Felder to become the 5th Eagle. The only other track on this album on which he appeared was Already Gone. They credited him as a late arrival on the album's liner notes. The album reached number 17 on the charts and sold 2 million copies. The album also released 3 singles, Already Gone, James Dean, and Best of My Love. The singles reached number 32, number 77 and number 1 respectively. Best of My Love became the band's first of 5 chart toppers. This is the first album by the Eagles to be released in quadraphonic surround sound. It was released on quadraphonic 8-track tape and CD 4 LP. A hidden message carved into the run-out groove of some vinyl LPs reads, "He who hesitates is lunch." Track listing. Side 1 Already Gone Euro 4:15, lead vocal by Glenn Frey, lead guitar by Glenn Frey, guitar solos by Glenn Frey and Don Felder, ending dual guitar solo by Glenn Frey and Don Felder. You Never Cry Like a Lover Euro 4:00, lead vocal by Don Henley, lead guitar by Glenn Frey. Midnight Flyer Euro 3:55, lead vocal by Randy Meisner, slide guitar by Glenn Frey, banjo by Bernie Leadon. My Man Euro 3:29, lead vocal and pedal steel guitar by Bernie Leadon. On the Border Euro 4:23, lead vocals by Don Henley, TNTS. By Coach, claps by the Clapets, lead guitar by Glenn Frey. Side 2 James Dean Euro 3:38, lead vocal by Glenn Frey, lead guitar by Glenn Frey. All 55 Euro 4:21, lead vocals by Glenn Frey and Don Henley, pedal steel guitar by Al Perkins. Is It True? Euro 3:14, lead vocal by Randy Meisner, slide guitar by Glenn Frey. Good Day in Hell Euro 4:25, lead vocals by Glenn Frey and Don Henley, lead and slide guitar by Don Felder. Best of My Love Euro 4:34, lead vocal by Don Henley, pedal steel guitar by Bernie Leadon. Song information. My Man Bernie Leadon's My Man is a tribute to Graham Parsons, who had died of a drug overdose in September 1973. Leadon and Parsons had been members of the pioneering country rock band the Flying Burrito Brothers. On the Border this track was inspired by the Watergate scandal and fears of the government overstepping its bounds and infringing on people's privacy. Barely audible at the end of the song, Glenn Frey can be heard whispering "Say goodnight, Dick," a line made famous by Dan Rowan of Rowan and Martin, but in this case referring to Richard Nixon's resignation. Nixon would indeed resign 5 months after the release of the album. Personnel: Don Felder, lead guitar, slide guitar; Glenn Frey, vocals, guitars, slide guitar, piano; Don Henley, vocals, drums; Bernie Leadon, vocals, guitars, banjo, pedal steel guitar; Randy Meisner, vocals, bass guitar; Al Perkins, pedal steel guitar. Singles: Already Gone / Is It True, Asylum 11036. Released April 19, 1974, James Dean / Good Day in Hell, Asylum 45202. Released August 14, 1974, Best of My Love / All 55, Asylum 45218. Released November 5, 1974. Charts, album. This was the first Eagles album to chart in the UK, reaching number 28. Singles: none of the above singles charted in the UK. References: